Daniel Greenfield has this piece from Page Mag, Trump's 5 rules. And I want to go through them quickly because that is just, as I said, the best analysis of Donald Trump I've seen since he's been running for office, ever. Rule number 1, Joe. Act. Don't react. Man, you are absolutely right. Trump's rule number 1. The best defense, this is my kind of addition to it, is a good offense. I boxed forever. And one of the worst parts about boxing, when you have a guy who's more skilled than you, is having to deal with him kicking the crap out of you if you're trying to keep your arms up. Because when you're trying to keep your arms up, what's he doing? He's punching you in the ribs and the body. And then he hits you in the body and you drop your elbows down to cover your ribs and he slams you in the face. A lot of times when boxers jab you, if you've boxed, you know this, you jab a guy in the top of the forehead. Why would you do that, Joe? Because his head goes back and then you expose his chin and then you punch him right in the chin, which can knock him out. And it really hurts. Now, there's a thing in boxing called a puncher's chance. Why? Because a puncher's chance, in other words, a guy who punches hard and really hurts, but may not have the boxing skill. In other words, they call it a puncher's chance because he may not be the most skilled boxer, but holy crikeys, his punches really hurt when he hits you. A puncher's chance is usually dramatically increased his chances of winning a fight if he goes on offense and just at some point nearly sprays and prays. As long as he doesn't leave himself open, just punch and punch and punch. Because when you're punching the other guy, he's not punching you. Trump has figured this out like no other politician I've ever seen. Whereas feather-spined, weak-kneed, swamp rat, I got to be careful what I say because I can't stand these guys, snowflake Republicans in the past have consistently waited for the media to attack them to react. Trump has flipped the script like Benicio del Toro in Usual Suspects. They flip you for real. He has flipped them entirely and has decided to go entirely on the offensive and make these people react to him. He forces other people to react rather than him reacting because you can't worry about your offense while you're getting punched in the nose, rhetorically. You're worried about covering up. But I thought I was better than this guy. He's still punching. The media insisted they were the better boxers until Trump had this monster right hand and left hook. And now they're like, holy crap, this really hurts. Yeah, but he doesn't have a lot of skill. It still really hurts, Joe.
Yeah.
They're not used to it. The media is used to dictating the flow of the boxing match with their incredible boxing skills. In other words, their propaganda skills. That's what they do. They're in the media. That's what they do best. The media is a propaganda operation. They are totally left flat-footed by a guy who has decided he's just going to take over the messaging himself. You are going to respond to him on Twitter and his pressers every day, just like he did at the North Lawn, and you're not going to dictate the flow of this because he's going to punch first. And now you're like, well, what do we do now? The answer is you cover up because there's more coming. Because you don't know what's going to happen next. So hat tip Daniel Greenfield, rule number 1, act, don't react. Amen. He has absolutely embraced that. Trump's rule number 2, try everything. Try everything. Now, you may say, what do you mean by that? Well, having run for office myself multiple times and knowing a lot of people who have, I can tell you in the political space, consultants and just about everyone else who chews your ear off will tell you, don't do that, you could fail. Don't do that, you could fail. Don't do that, you could fail. It'll be politically embarrassing. He doesn't care. Don't talk to North Korea, you could fail. That's fine, we may win. Tariffs, again, I'm not a fan, but don't do tariffs, they're economically damaging. Well, we may get a better deal in the end at a try. He's not, do you understand he doesn't care about the political fallout? He doesn't care. His staff may care. His team may care. Trump clearly, based on his actions and what he's actually done, Joe, doesn't care. He is willing to try everything. Things other people have not been willing to do in the past. And it's left. Now, these all tie together from this point out. His willingness to try everything flows nicely into Trump's rule number 3. Chaos is power. Amen, Daniel Greenfield. Chaos is power. Trump's willingness to try things no swamp rat politician in the past would dare even touch has created systemic chaos in the swamp. because chaos is unpredictable. Nobody knows how to respond. And if you don't know how to respond, Joe, and you're in the boxing match, to continue with this analogy, how do you prepare a game plan? In other words, I get in the ring with Joe. Joe's a skilled boxer. He's got 10 bouts under his belt. I watch a video. Joe does this. He likes to lead. He likes this left Joe Frazier hook. Joe is a lefty, but to the body. Then he likes to come in the over-the-top right hand like Chuck Liddell afterwards. So here's how we're going to respond to that. Then you get a Clay Guida type from the UFC who comes out like a maniac every fight. Nobody knows what the hell he's going to do. Flying knees, spin around, capoeira. Clay Guida. Have you ever watched Clay Guida fight? He's totally unpredictable. There's no way for you to plan. How do we plan for Guida? I don't know. Good luck. Yeah, really. So by trying everything, trying things that have never been tried, that are unexpected. Why? Because no politician has tried everything before, because they've been persuaded by political people. Don't try that. You could fail. Don't reach out to the North Koreans. It could look bad. Trump doesn't care. He's like, yeah, it's okay. We'll try it. I'm good, guys. Thanks for the advice. I'm going to give this guy a ring. Tariffs were the same thing. It's been Republican conservative orthodoxy that tariffs are a bad thing. Like I said, I'm not a fan of tariffs. But he has said these trade deals suck for us. We're just going to try it. We'll see where the chips fall. Nobody knows how to respond because nobody was prepared for it. Like, wait, what? They say, he ran on that in the campaign. He ran on a lot of things. The guy is unpredictable. And his sense of chaos is his power. Brilliant. Brilliant. The Guinness guy. Brilliant. Rule number 4, which flows nicely from rule number 3. Never show your hand. Trump doesn't show his hand because of rule number 3. Chaos is power and chaos is unpredictable. If you're unpredictable, there's no hand to respond to. Well, we can predict this is what he's going to say on tariffs and taxes. How did we know that? Because every Republican in the past ran on a swamp agenda put together by swamp consultants that led to predictability on the Democrat side. Well, this is what they're going to do, Joe. They've done this forever. This is what the Republicans told them to do, the consultants. Mm-hmm. And therefore, here's how we're going to respond using our media propagandists. We're going to respond on Social Security by saying they're throwing grandma over the cliff. We're going to respond on taxes by saying they're in it for the rich. We're going to respond on foreign policy by saying they're warmongers. Wait. You did say Trump was a warmonger when he called Kim Little Rocket Man. But what problem did that create? Trump was so unpredictable, Joe, they never expected him to then follow up with a reach out to Kim on this summit. And now they're in a pickle. Why, Joe? Because 2-3 months ago, you called him a warmonger. Now he's shaking his hand in some kind of a peace summit. What do you say now? We just called him a warmonger. How do we what are we going to lobby against ourselves? Never show your hand. Chaos is power. Try everything. Finally, rule number 5. Don't be afraid to be the bad guy. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, you're up in Canada. You're talking to semi-socialist Justin Trudeau. Listen, I love the Canadians. I love Canada. I've been here. It's a beautiful country. They're great, wonderful people with a nice, flourishing economy. But that does not make everything the Canadians do in Americans' best interests. It doesn't. And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I like Justin Trudeau. He's a nice guy, whatever it may be, and we love the Canadians. But I'm sorry, a 270% tariff on our dairy products is not in the Americans' interest, and I have no problem saying that. In the past, you can't say that. Canadians are our pals. Fine, they may be. God forbid there was World War III. They'll probably be our best allies. But that doesn't mean everything they do makes them puts them on the right side of U.S. history. Trump has no fear of being the bad guy. Nah, those tariffs are no good. Sorry, Trudeau. We're not going to. I appreciate our relationship and stuff, but you got to fix that. That was verboten in the past. Oh, you can't do that. You might offend them. Well, I assure you, a 270% tariff on dairy offends our dairy farmers too. Now, to be fair, we tariff some of their stuff as well. But that if Trump, as he professed, is willing to go to free and non-subsidy free trade, great, we win. But he's not afraid to be the heel. There's nothing wrong with that. Enough playing nice. We've done that for too long. All right, folks, that was a stacked show full of information. Man, I think that was one of our most important shows we've done since 628. I promise you I will continue digging through this. We'll be back on Monday with more info. But please, I'm imploring you as a friend and as a fellow consumer of conservative content elsewhere before I bring it to you. That report was absolutely damning. Please do not fall into the trap of this thing was a nothing burger. That is nonsense. We'll see what happens from this point on. But there's more. I'll just leave it at that. I'll bring more to you on Monday. Thanks again for tuning in, folks. Please subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, or you can click the follow button on iHeartRadio. Follow us on SoundCloud. It really helps us with the show. Thanks a lot. See you on Monday.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show. Get more of Dan online anytime at conservativereview.com. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 at DBongino.